We are in the London Velodrome once again for the second night of our double header. And given that we've got a double header in terms of racing, we've got a double header for our Q&A as well. Laura Kenny and Sir Chris Hoy are going to take your questions now. Let's get started, shall we? We want to know who will be the first rider to beat Harrylavrayson in the sprints. I mean, I'm wondering if that's going to be 2022, 2023.
I think tonight is unlikely.
Really?
With the form he's had, the only person I think that could do it potentially on current form is Nicholas Paul, maybe Yakovlev, but he hasn't been quite as sharp as we've seen previously. But I think
not Buttigieg.
No, I think Buttigieg is perhaps focusing on the Kieran here, but I think Harry will win the sprint tonight. I can't see him getting beaten. But
Laura?
we'll see.
Yeah, no, I agree. I can't see anyone in this competition beating him anytime soon, to be honest.
I'm going to throw a bit of jeopardy in there. I'm going to say Stefan Buttigieg because he was so close last night. He's got 2 Kierans already.
Yeah.
Fair
He's
enough.
14 points back, so it's going to be difficult for him to win the overall league. So I'm going to go all in for Buttigieg. But what do I know beside these two? Can Katie Archibald win 2 nights in a row? Yes.
For sure, yeah. I definitely think so, yeah. I think that elimination race yesterday, I mean, I was messaging her while I was commentating because I can't help it. I still feel like I'm
you're
in there with
messaging
her.
her when she was
racing?
Yeah. Oh, both. All the time.
Is that why she lost the scratch race?
Because beforehand
Tonight,
she's just
Katie, don't listen to her. Don't check your phone
Don't take your phone
when
on
you're
the
missing the scratch because you will lose.
just read a whole load of abuse before she got on the start line.
Get her fired up.
But I did say, I told her, I was like, you need to take a breath. I think the whole occasion, like it's the first time we've had a home crowd in such a long time that I was like, just relax. And like, because I think her legs are that good that it doesn't matter if she makes a mistake. But I think because she was so stressed about it, she didn't race like the Katie Archibald we know. And then also in the elimination race, she was just like, bam, done, back. And I think that will now give her the confidence for tonight.
I like that. Bam, done, back. That's how you win
It's a
a race.
technical term. Yeah. But she only has to get 10th, doesn't she? So she only to win the championship, to win the league, she only has to come 10th or better in the first race. But that's not Katie's style. She's going to want to win both. And you saw the way the crowd responded last night. She wants to. It's a drug. That feeling of, the crowd reacting to your performance is addictive. So she'll want to have that again, I'm sure.
And it was beautiful to see the way she celebrated. She had her hands in her head. She was absolutely delighted. And as you say, the whole crowd behind her. It was lovely to see when it's been such a long time since we've had the chance to witness that. Why isn't the Kieran bike electric now? Is another question.
It is. Well, it is. Not the one here isn't, but yeah, usually it is. But it just kind of depends on the velodrome that you go to, the venue. It can be, I've seen some motorbikes, I've seen some electric bikes in Japan. It's a human pacer, they just pedal a bike, so it really depends on where you are. But yeah, I think it's kind of a nod to the heritage of the old Dernies from back in the day.
Yeah, I assume they were all electric.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, because I did say last night when we were commentating, I was like, oh, I'm not used to that noise anymore. Because we're not, it's so quiet, the electric bikes. I just assumed that everyone was now, on the electric one.
It's part of the drama though, I think, in the Kieran, that the noise, when you hear the Dernie firing up.
Yeah.
But certainly when you're racing, you're sitting on the side and you get that rush of adrenaline of, oh God, here we go. And it's like a taper burning, you're getting closer and closer to the start of the race. So when you hear that noise, it's like a Pavlovian response.
Yeah. Well, here's a good question. What has been your favourite moment from the TCL so far? We've got one more night to go. Putting you in the spot, one that comes to mind.
I'm probably going to steal yours. I think Katie's last night. The crowd, the noise. It brought back the memories from London because the crowd here seemed to be so passionate about track cycling, knowledgeable, and they were loud before. But when she won that elimination race, it was like, wow, we're up to 100% here. It was incredible.
I mean, for me, I'd say Kirsten Wild winning last night.
Yeah.
Because we know she's retiring, and I just think it was so good to see the old Kirsten that we've seen so many times before. And it was funny because actually when she hit the black line, initially I was like, too soon. And then straight away I was like, oh, that is the Kirsten that we all love to see.
Mine is women's endurance as well, actually, but mine was Maggie Coles-Lister from round one. I just loved the surprise element. The fact that she wasn't really expecting to win and she was the first league leader was wonderful. Yeah. But I think we've got to give a nod to the sprints as well. Watching Harrylavrayson race in real life and up close is a sight to behold, isn't it?
It is, and I think it's like any athlete in any sport that dominates and has this consistency, it almost gets boring and people want him to lose, not because they don't like him or they don't think he's a great athlete, but because he's so dominant and they want to see him really being stretched. But he's not. It's not that he's not trying or that it's easy. He is working incredibly hard, but he is just on another level to everybody else. He's rapidly becoming one of the all-time greats in sprint cycling.
That's why we used to always cheer against you, Chris, because you always won. It was boring.
Well, I wish you told me it was boring. I was terrified each time. I'm going to lose.
I'm joking, I was always cheering for you. What do you like the most about the event as a whole, Laura?
I mean, for me, it's having the same riders come to each event. Because
following that narrative is really powerful, isn't it?
It is, it really is. Like I said before about, I compared it to like the Formula One racing and the fact that it's the same guys there and you see them week in, week out. There's a story behind it, and it's the same here. You see people have ebbs and flows and you get to speak to them, so you get to understand why. Following their sleep routine and their heart rates on their watches, I just think it makes everything a lot more real, and I've just really enjoyed that.
What about you, Chris?
I think it's the clear start of something new, and it's the way that the riders, everybody's getting on board and realising how significant this is in track cycling. Our sport's been crying out for it for so long, and I just wish I was still racing to enjoy it, but being on the outside watching it, it's so exciting. It's a fresh new start for the sport, and it's going to create new champions and new household names.
I love the intensity of the format, I have to say. It's really brutal to watch even. You know what the riders are going through. I don't know what the riders are going through, but you can imagine.
Well, you've been on the track today. You know all about it now.
Nobody was going to mention that. Laura did give me a little track session, my first ever attempt on the boards of a velodrome earlier.
You were good.
It wasn't pretty, but we'll move along.
It was good.
Well, the worst thing about it for me was that I've got like cupboards all full of cycling gear at home. I didn't bring any of it with me, so I had to ride around in yoga pants and a little like high street t-shirt.
She's got all the excuses. Then, exactly.
Maybe that's what we'll all be wearing next week.
Isn't it terrible how vain? It wasn't about how well I did, I just looked rubbish. Anyway, next question as my phone freezes. If you could add another venue to the Track Champions League calendar next year, where would you want it to be? I'm going to go big. Madison Square Gardens.
Oh, nice.
Somewhere warm.
Yeah,
somewhere warm. We can go on holiday afterwards, and or that would be close enough we could stay for the 7 days between the two events.
Yeah.
You know, purely selfishly.
I was going to say, I'm not sure how that adds to the
competition
intensity.
Oh, never mind them. No, it's all about us. All about us.
Laura, we've done Australia, New York, and...
No, I'm going Switzerland. I'm going Grenchen. I love that track.
Yeah.
And, I'm going like a bit more, maybe it could happen, because obviously we've got the whole travel...
She's saying on the fence.
Being realistic.
Travel situation at the minute.
Your dad jokes, seriously. I'm so glad you've got kids, because otherwise...
Well, I'm a dad, so my jokes are therefore dad jokes.
Oh my goodness.
So you're going to Switzerland, so maybe you can ski in between, you'll get your holiday that way.
Yeah, sounds good.
Right, final answer, thank goodness. It's been an amazing start to the Track Champions League. Thank you, it has, hasn't it? What would you change or add next year? For me, I'd get rid of COVID, if we could sort that out, and have all the rounds, because I'd love to see what the full round of Track Champions League would look like. Yeah. Laura?
I'd add a Madison.
Ooh.
I think it should be short and sharp. I think it should be like 40 laps, points every 5 laps.
Yeah, that would be good.
One person Madison, is it? How would they work with your team?
That's true. Yeah, how would that work with points?
I guess would you fastest against slowest?
Obviously a team
you could do it in
event.
revert, like sort of fastest against slowest. So each team would have, like, if you had a middle team, would be very evenly matched, but you'd have like Katie against with the slowest one.
It's getting a lot more technical than I thought this question
I've got my
would.
simpler suggestion.
Yeah.
A consolation race. So in the sprint, if you get knocked out in the first round, to rank riders from 7th to 18th, there should be a short scratch race, 6 laps.
Okay.
All 12 riders on the track at the same time, all the sprinters. A 6-lap sprint, basically, for 12 riders would be exciting, because they do that kind of racing in Trinidad and Barbados and the Easter Carnivals, and they're the best races, short sprint scratch races.
Chris, can I just point out for anyone who doesn't know that you helped develop the format for these races?
Yeah,
so
any criticism, it's James Pope, any praise goes to me, okay?
Maybe get you even more involved for next year. The very first round of the UCI Track Champions League is almost at an end. Not quite though, we've got one final evening of racing to come. Cannot wait.